So good morning, welcome to the hotel in Dublin. I'm heading out on American Airlines on one of their 777-200s in business class from Dublin across to Charlotte. But not only are we talking about the flight, we'll also be having a look at the pre-clearance here in Dublin as well. So if you're curious as to how pre-clearance works for US immigration in Dublin, how you can clear US customs before you've even got to the US and just walk off the plane like a domestic customer, you're in the right place.
Traveling the world on planes, trains, trams, and more. Join Mark Hopwood as he shows you some of the great journeys he's made. Travel with him as he takes you to a whole variety of destinations. And just remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and give Mark your comments on this video.
So my day began in the Crowne Plaza Hotel at Dublin Airport. I was quite lucky. I'd booked in fellow IHG Group hotel Holiday Inn Express right next door. That was still closed with a refurbishment running late, so they kindly upgraded me to the Crowne Plaza. I got up and headed onto the shuttle bus. It's an electric shuttle bus powered by battery, so I did my bit for the environment at the start of the journey to Dublin Airport, and then into Terminal 2, where the American Airlines check-in is literally right opposite the bus drop-off, which is pretty handy. I checked my flight, the 11:15 to Charlotte AA725, all looking good, and then made my way towards the premium check-in for America. Not busy at any of the desks, but a little bit quieter at premium. Checked my bag in through to Los Angeles and then took the lift up to the departures floor, and then I was looking for fast track security as I had a business class ticket, and I was able to get straight through the fast track security at Dublin Airport. Dublin Airport fitted with new security equipment to scan without you having to take your liquids or anything else out, so that was really handy. And as well as the departure boards, you have these US departure screens as well, and we'll come back to that in a moment. Like many airports, you have to walk through the duty free through to the main departure lounge, but this is where things begin to get a little bit different, because you're not looking for a lounge or to get straight on your flight. You're looking for the signs to US pre-clearance. A lot of passengers in Dublin are traveling to the US, and you clear customs here in Dublin. My flight wasn't quite up on the screen, it came up shortly after, and once your flight is on that screen, you can start to head towards the US pre-clearance. From the main departure lounge, you'll often get a view of your aircraft as you head towards the US pre-clearance, and you may want to make sure you've done what you need to do in the departure lounge. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment, but you'll come down these escalators to this area. It's signed with the US flag, so you can clearly see it's pre-clearance, and I'm not allowed to film that, so I'm showing this little video now.
I'm flying to the United States today from an international airport that has US Customs and Border Protection pre-clearance. Unlike my usual international travel, I can save time and relax, knowing that with US pre-clearance, I'll clear US CBP inspection before we take off. My trip begins like any other. I check in and go through security. Then I head to US pre-clearance. It's the same US inspection I'm used to, but here I'm cleared for entry by US officers before I even board my flight, rather than when we get to the US. There's even time to shop at the duty-free store and relax before takeoff. Once I've boarded, I can enjoy my flight and not worry about a busy arrival hall. And when I land, there's no waiting in line. I can just grab my bag and head straight to my destination. International travel is seamless with US pre-clearance. And now I have plenty of time to relax.
And the greatest thing, of course, about that video is it suggests I can get a Boeing 727 from a pre-clearance site. You know, viewers, I'm still looking for that. Well, this is the area beyond pre-clearance, couple of cafes, a bar, and you saw there the sign for the 51st and Green Lounge, and that is where I'm heading. Sadly, it's right at the end of this corridor, and if, like my flight, your flight's back in this area, you're going to do a lot of walking. The lounge is a circular shape, but it's on the ground floor, so the views are not great. Plenty of seating. There's a departure board there, so you can keep an eye on your flight. It only shows the US departures. You can choose from seats, longitudinal seats, individual seats, seats by the window, seats at a table, more relaxing seats. A bar that does cocktails, non-alcoholic cocktails as well, serves you fresh espressos and lattes, but you can make your own coffee in this food area as well. There's a sparkling and still water, chilled water tap. Hot breakfast items when I was there, pastries of course, juices and toast. Hello from the 51st and Green Lounge here at Dublin Airport. Very different lounge to many others you'll find. It's run by the airport, and if you're flying on Delta, United, American or Aer Lingus, so any of the airlines that fly across the Atlantic to the USA, if you're in business class you can come in for nothing. If you're in economy or premium economy, you can pay £45 to come in the lounge and use it. It's a nice lounge, not huge, but a pleasant facility. Now, I wanted just to pick up on the pre-clearance. There have been some changes recently, some changes that I've just experienced that I thought I would run through with you. First of all, they're no longer doing a security check, a secondary security check on every passenger. So you now go through Dublin Airport security. It's been upgraded. It's like London City in the UK, so you don't have to take your laptops or your iPads out or your liquids out, and there's no limit on the liquids, so that's a lot easier. But I think that quality of security has given the Americans confidence they don't need to do an additional level of security before the pre-clearance, but they are doing a random check on about 1 in 10 passengers who get told to step out of the line into a red queue, and they then have to put their bags and jackets and so on through security. Now, sod's law, that was me this morning. Reasonably straightforward, not too bad. The only thing that was a bit annoying was they asked for all electronic items, and when I checked, that includes like cameras and other things that you wouldn't normally have to get out. So a little bit of a faff, but I was the only one being asked to do that. So there wasn't really a queue, and the staff were quite helpful. Probably waited 5 or 6 minutes for a line. The other thing that's changed is that you used to have to identify your bags, so they would bring your bags up on the screen as part of the discussion that you had with the US Customs officer. They're no longer doing that. Of course, it works really well. The only thing I would say in the marketing, Dublin Airport talk about saving up to 2 hours. You know, I'm not sure that all passengers save that amount of time. Now, I flew with Aer Lingus via Dublin to Orlando a few years ago, and I really valued that because Orlando Airport at the time, particularly with afternoon flights, was just a nightmare. And coming in from Dublin, arriving as a domestic passenger was fantastic. But you know, I've recently been to a number of airports in the US, and I've hardly had to queue at all at immigration. So yeah, it is a handy facility. I think one of the probably biggest advantages actually of the pre-clearance is that if you're connecting, as I am today, I'm flying from Dublin to Charlotte on American Airlines and then connecting to Los Angeles. But if you're doing that, your bags are checked straight through. My small suitcase is heading straight through to LA.
Down below, as soon as they're done that, we'll be on our way to Charlotte. It should be a pretty nice ride to Charlotte today. Once we get airborne, it's going to be 7 hours and 7 minutes in the air, and when we get there, they currently have a part of the cloudy sky, but it's 19 degrees centigrade. That's about 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, it should be a great flight today, and we'll talk to you when we get up there.
As you've seen from the map there, a departure from Dublin on runway 10 right, out over the Irish Sea in an easterly direction, completely the wrong way to head to the US. So a steep right-hand turn with a 180-degree turn back around south of Dublin, out over Ireland, over the Atlantic, breaking land over Canada, Newfoundland, and then descending back towards Charlotte, landing on runway 18 left after a descent across Virginia and North Carolina. So I was soon on board the American Airlines 777-200 in the forward cabin, business class, seat 2A for me. Great business class seat on American, only one seat ahead of me, seat 1A, no passengers there, but the crew from the flight deck were using it as their rest seat for small periods of the flight. And once everyone was on board, we pushed back from our stand once the jetty had been moved back. A reasonable length taxi, but we were not busy at Dublin, taxied straight out to runway 10 right, and here we are as we turn onto the threshold of the runway for our departure.
If you're enjoying this video on Mark's Trains, Planes, Trams, then please take a moment to like the video, subscribe, then press the notification button.
So just in case you weren't aware how to use a face cloth handed out on American Airlines, that's my demonstration before we look at the menu for this business class flight on American Airlines, as they welcomed us on board. Food with a great starter, main course and dessert, and a snack on approach to Charlotte with some drinks as well. So I chose to have a Mexican beer served with some nuts before my meal. I'd actually ordered a Bud Light, but the slightly eccentric cabin crew member told me I couldn't have that. It was just flavoured water. But very nice beer from Mexico it was too, and that took us on to the starter. Both served at the same time. This was a small plate of vegetable antipasti, baby leek, zucchini, the grilled artichoke there, and some eggplant puree on the plate, with a salad of seasonal greens with a balsamic vinaigrette. And very nice it was too. The food service commenced pretty soon into the flight, and I was quite pleased about that, so I could get on and have some rest. And then to the main course, a choice of steak, chicken, grilled sea bass or fried paneer. I'd pre-ordered the grilled sirloin steak, and very good it was too. It looked a bit more like a fillet, but it was of good quality, to the extent that steak served on a plane is ever good quality. It was served with a truffle jus, potato and celery gratin, caramelized carrots, and roasted leek slices. It's great to be able to order your food in advance, and the crew were telling me how helpful it is for them. You do get what you want, but you do have to make your mind up a couple of days before you fly. And with my main course I chose a glass of the Argentinian Malbec, and that took me to dessert, which was a lemon tart for me, and very nice that was. And you can see I still had my glass of Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, which was great too, and I had a cup of mint tea to wrap it all up. All in all, a great meal with some great wines, some great drinks, and it was nice to sit back, relax, and just enjoy the flight, enjoy the space, enjoy the comfort of the great American Airlines business class seat. So let's have a look at the Collins Super Diamond seat. The magazine storage also accommodates one of a larger iPads, a small storage area there for sort of flat items that you can fit in, but quite useful nonetheless, and then a deeper storage area next to it for charging with a charger point and a USB point. Keep your wires, your cables, other bits and pieces there, really quite handy, and the remote for the in-flight entertainment is kept there as well. So all in all, quite a good bit of storage. There's the console for your seat. You can obviously move that to have it in recline, partially reclined, or right out as a flatbed. And your table folds out, so you can have a smaller or a large table. It does slide back and forth, but you can't move it on any other axis. But it's great if you only want to have a small table or a large table for eating a full meal. Your armrest can move up or down, and it opens up into a small, quite tight storage area. I had my amenity bag in there, but you can use it for other things, including small bottles of drink and so forth. So all in all, a good seat. American Airlines have chosen well. I went back to the plane to the rear galley and then walked my way through economy class, which is a mix of 2 and then 3, 4, 3, so 343 with some 242 at the back. Obviously much more densely seated, but a good in-flight entertainment system, a good mix of facilities on the seat back with that space well used. 2 economy class cabins, and both of them in that configuration. So quite a generous supply of economy class seats on this American Airlines 777-200. And then as we complete our journey through economy, we enter the premium economy cabin, which is exceptionally small and only has 3 rows of seats, but it's 242 configuration, so much more generous, more space, more recline, more legroom, a much better space in all respects. And into business class, 2 cabins of business class, and the toilet facilities in business class, with the toilets upgraded with this sort of fake wooden formica inside, a nappy changing table that could be used for other things, I guess, as well. The toilet itself, a sink, and all the usual facilities that you'd expect to find in an airline toilet that you probably don't need to see in the video, but I've thrown it in as your bonus B-roll material for you to have a little look. Sliding door rather than a folding door, which is much better in many respects. And back out of the toilet, a quick look at the in-flight entertainment system with the flight info visible, and then back to the galley to have a look at the food. Some snacks in packaging there, but also some items from the menu that had not been given to customers were put out for people to take away and enjoy during a later stage of the flight. And finally, I thought I'd bring you a quick glimpse of the amenity bag with a pen, a toothbrush, some toothpaste, the usual eye mask, and a couple of creams and lip balm as well in a tube. So a few useful facilities. Of course, you do have to be careful accepting that if you're transferring to another flight with security. And then it was the approach into Charlotte Airport.
Where the weather's reported as widely scattered clouds, at least 10 miles visibility. Winds are out of the south-southwest at 8 knots with a temperature of 28 degrees Celsius. That's 82 degrees Fahrenheit. On behalf of all of us, we'd like to thank you for flying with American Airlines today. We hope to see see you on board again in the near future.
American Airlines.
Well, hello from the light rail station at the I-485 interchange here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Well, we'll wrap up that flight from Dublin. I whizzed off the plane straight through the airport, no immigration of course, and into an Uber straight down the freeway and down here to have a quick look at light rail. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one, I'm sure.